Hello and welcome. I'm Silvia Hartmann and I wanted to talk to you today about the true secret of becoming a millionaire. Now, when I was 14 years old, my parents were offered to buy the field on the other side of the road, and it was offered to them for, at that time, 80,000 German marks. I thought it was a brilliant idea to purchase that field for many reasons. I mean, it seemed very cheap for such a big field, and on the other hand, you know, there's just endless things you can do with a huge piece of property. And it didn't seem to be an awful lot of money either at the time. So I really encouraged my mother to go ahead and buy this. But my mother didn't want to buy it. Oh, what do I need a field for? Can't afford the mortgage, can't afford the repayments, da 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 da. So the field was sold to someone else, who less than a year later sold this on to a property developer for 1 million marks. Did my mother cry? You bet she did. Did she weep? Did she tear out her hair? Did she start going on about how terribly unlucky she was all her life? Yeah, of course she did. And, you know, really, and here is where we're at with that. My mother was extremely highly stressed all the time, and she was constantly living in a state of fear and poverty. And when you do that, when you live in that state of fear and poverty all the time, what happens is that you make shit decisions, terrible decisions, awful decisions. My mother could have been a millionaire if she had not been so filled with fear and terror and foreboding. And she really never got over that. She drew all the wrong conclusions from it, as people tend to do. And this is why I'm here today to tell you the secret of being or becoming a millionaire, and that is to be fearless. Absolutely fearless. Just take a moment here with me to breathe deeply and consider what your life would be like if you were totally and utterly fearless. If you were not afraid any longer of telling people about your products and services, of chatting up people in a pub, of putting a video of yourself on YouTube, of walking the streets with a sandwich board if necessary to bring more customers into your business. Just think about that for a moment. What your life would be like if you were never ever afraid again. Wouldn't that be a marvelous state of being? Wouldn't that be the freedom, really, that we're seeking? Look, people are always saying, oh, I want more freedom, and I want more money, and I want the money to buy myself more freedom. But the truth is that being completely fearless, that is a state of freedom. Now appreciate that to say that to you, you need to be fearless. That's one thing. And then we come to the question of how. How do I get to be fearless? And this is where modern energy has the answer to that. We have the modern energy chart, which tells us the different states the energy body is in and which emotions it produces. It also shows us what states we need to be in order to get things done. So if we take a quick look at the modern energy chart now, my mother was living the -6 being right down here. And of course, with the -6 beings, we're never far away from a total freak out, a panic attack, a temper tantrum, throwing yourself around like a 2-year-old. And then following from that, of course, the deep crash down into the depression that happens inevitably after this explosion of rage at -7. So in that miserable, terrified state of -6, a lot of people live their lives in that state. And there we have this absolute out of control, running on a hamster wheel, but you haven't got the power anymore and you don't know what to do, and oh my God, I need another credit card, basically. It's a really sad state of affairs. Most people tend to live around the next stage up is where you're constantly questioning yourself. And questioning yourself is kind of the opposite of this fearless business again. I wonder if people will think I'm strange because I'm wearing this outfit and I'm old and I haven't had plastic surgery and I'm not wearing fake teeth and I've got my glasses on. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, what will people think? That's no state to do anything at all, never mind business, attracting customers, doing all the work that needs to be done. I mean, it's just no way to live your life constantly questioning yourself and second-guessing yourself and naysaying yourself. And all of these things below zero are really a recipe for failure. They're a recipe for failure in business, they are a recipe for failure in work, they're a recipe for failure in relationships, they are a recipe for failure, full stop. What we need to do, and this is the real secret of how to become more successful, to the point that you make the right decision and become a millionaire, is to move up the energy chart. Now, for entrepreneurs, what is really important to understand is that we have an energy average, each one of us, and we sort of go up and down from that energy average on a regular basis. So if your energy average is quite low and you're going up and down on your energy average, you're going to have a really miserable life that might well involve self-mutilation as well, in the widest metaphorical sense. Now, if your energy average is around zero and you're going up and down a little bit here, nothing much ever gets done. You're going between, oh, I've got a good idea, and oh no, it's not such a good idea because somebody else said something. What we need to do is, when we're getting into this other side, on the positive wing of the modern energy chart, there things are starting then to go up a bit better. And that's where we need to be. There are so many benefits of being higher in energy, I wouldn't even know where to start. Now, the very first one is, and the one that my mother was always going on about, how unlucky she was. She wasn't really unlucky. She was just not in a state to actually see the opportunities, or to notice that there's a chance here of making a profit, or to, oh yeah, that's something that we could do, to have good ideas. And so it seemed that when she tried to do something from these very negative energy states, that it didn't work out, and she was unlucky. She wasn't unlucky, she was just low on energy. But we can flip that, because if you are high on energy, things happen as if by magic, only it's not magic. A high energy person tends to attract people to them, because most people are so low of energy that when they meet somebody who's, firing on a few extra cylinders, they are directly attracted to them, to, take some of that energy and bring it into their own systems. So when you are energy higher, it is much more likely that people will want to make a relationship with you as a customer, or a networking relationship, or a joint venture relationship, than if you're not. This is that classic thing where the desperate salesman can't even get the dogs in the street to piss on him, and the happy salesman is just going around happy-go-lucky, as they say, and people are throwing money in his direction. This is that basic thing that I'm talking about, that you need to be fearless. And fearless to me means to be energy rich. Energy rich is something that we can be if we have no money in the bank at all, or no track records of any kind of business successes. We can still raise our energy, because there we come here on the positive side. See, the person that we have on the energy chart, after the guy with the good ideas, is the worker. He's got a spade and a shovel, and he's actually doing the work. For any business to be successful, really successful, and it doesn't matter what kind of business it is, you need to pick up your shovel and start digging. Absolutely 100%. There's no shortcut to this. There's no way around this. there is no way, no matter how much money you spend on weird sort of internet things where they're telling you that, oh, if you buy this special thing, then you're going to be successful, and it's all while you sleep, and you don't have to do a thing, you can just lie on the beach and drink your margaritas. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that's bullshit. You need to work at your business. You need to put in effort, you need to put in energy. Now, hopefully, when you're putting in the energy, this will be repaid to you manyfold, because that's the profit for us for doing business. It's not just money. It is actually this energy a successful business gives you, that pride, that self-esteem, that yes, I've made it work. This is what we're really looking for. And there we come, this worker man. Then as we're going up a little bit more, as you're doing the work, you're going to see results, because that's what happens when you do the work. There might be little results at first, just a couple of sales to some people that you might have known, but there are results. And you go, wow, okay. And that further raises energy. And now we get to that happy golden sunshine man. In Germany they say he was born on a Sunday. He's just lucky, everybody loves him, people go woohoo when he walks down the street, and he has no trouble at all finding customers. He's the exact opposite of a slimy salesman, the exact opposite of somebody who's, oh please buy my wares. He's just somebody who naturally attracts things, and he's looking around, and there comes that luck thing. He sees opportunities, he acts on them without fear, and of course he's going to become even more successful. So here's my top tips for becoming fearless. Right, number one, actually pay attention to what you are thinking and what you're saying to yourself. And when you start questioning yourself in that stupid way of, oh, I'm not good enough, does anybody even want my product, or stop. Just realize that a fool will think foolish thoughts, and it'll never ever end. It's just ongoing. It's a generator. It's not a bucket of things that once you empty it out, it'll be gone. It's actually practice, when you're practicing self-questioning yourself all the time. That's the first thing. Really become aware of your own energy states. Print out an energy chart, hang it up on your fridge, and make it your business to check as often as possible, where am I on this chart? Where am I right now? Am I the green guy with all the question marks over the top of his head? Am I the orange guy who's like, oh, I've got a good idea? But then we need to raise energy even more to get the worker guy to get to work on it. So that's number one, is to really become aware of your own energy states so you can stop self-sabotaging yourself, and to really change direction towards these higher energy states, to understand how important they are and how much you really need them if you really want to be successful. So that's my tip number one, is really become aware of your own energy states. Tip number two is to now start paying attention on how you raise your energy already. How do you do that? Do you take cocaine, drink coffee, use exercise, use looking at porn to raise your energy? How do you already do that, and how effective is that for you? What we're looking to find is all sorts of little ways all around the place to raise energy all the time, things that help, things that can, you know, make us feel better. And that doesn't have to be some massive session once a day or once a week. I am a huge believer in having little and often little injections of joy, little things that will, you know, really brighten your day and raise your energy. So that's number two. Become aware of how you are raising energy at the moment and see if you can improve on that, what works particularly well without causing some kind of really bad side effect, and what you can use to put more energy into your life in a structural and logical fashion. with that comes to possibly have a think about the things and the people and the circumstances and the places that don't raise your energy, that bring you down, that depress the hell out of you. I knew a guy who was literally suicidal every time after he visited some school friends from back in the day. And it's like, just stop, you know, stop. Stop hanging out with people that make you depressed and take you off of work for like a week after you visited them. That's insanity. You know, it really is crazy. That doesn't do anybody any favors. It's not a good thing. So if you find a real massive energy drain that you haven't no idea how to cope with, just see if you can just make that stop. That would be quite helpful. Okay, so my number 3 tip for sorting out this energy thing is to kind of give an amnesty to all your past aspects that tried to do something and failed. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs, they raise their energy, they get to to +3 or thereabouts, and they have a good idea. And they are excited about it, they get to work, but then something happens and their energy system crashes. And that can be something as stupid as a relative making a stupid comment, for example. You know, oh, what's that piece of shit that you're doing there? It doesn't matter what it is. What we need to realize that back in the day, our aspects didn't know about this energy business, and they didn't realize that what had just happened is that they'd crashed right down the energy chart. Now they're in a bad place, and whatever decisions they're taking there are going to be bad decisions. Like, oh, it's not worth going on with this, it's just a total failure, I'm a total failure, and pulling the plug on it, whatever it may have been. That's a typical thing that we do in really low energy states just to make the pain stop. It's not a helpful or progressive, future-orientated kind of thing to do, but now we can understand why our aspects did that. So if you think of yourself as a serial failure, or possibly somebody who has a very checkered track record, had tried very hard but it never worked out, was terribly unlucky, right. Today is the amnesty. Let us stop. These things are just energy. They're nothing more, nothing less. And from today onwards, we can look at our work and the way we deal with ourselves in a different way. We can do something to help our future aspects be more successful. So here's tip number 4, and that is future orientation. We have been really brought up in a society where everybody is doing that Freudian backflip into the past. You know, like, oh God, before I can start my new business, I first need to go into therapy and find all the times that I had terrible childhood memories relating to money and earning. Oh, good God. Nobody gets anything done by going in the past all the time. If you want to make something happen in reality, you need to deal with the now and with the future. That's the important place. The future is the important place. And this is also a really big part of that keeping your energy levels high, of not falling into self-doubt and spiraling down into crazy aggression and anxiety and all of that. By focusing on the future, we give ourselves literally a path out of this anxiety and depression. Okay, so right now it's not so great, but I'm going to move into a future where it's better, and this is what I'm going to do to achieve this. Now, the higher your energy state, the easier it is to see the obvious, the face-smackingly obvious thing that you have to do first and then have to do next. The reason we don't normally see it is simply because we're too stressed and our focus just collapses down into these little tiny pinpoints of madness. The more energy rich you become, the more you can see the bigger picture, the more of a humorous approach you can take to this, and you can actually get to a point where you're saying, yeah, actually, if I actually got up for a change at 9 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd probably get more done. And then you have a giggle. So there's no kind of like self-mutilation. I'm such a bad person, I've been so lazy. No, you've just been energyless, you know? You didn't have the energy that you needed to go ahead and do the things that you needed to do. So my final tip is really learn some modern energy techniques. We've got loads of brilliant techniques that are all designed to raise energy. We've got modern energy tapping with positives, which is super simple and really gets your energy system going. We've got EMO, where you get to suck in energy from all sorts of wonderful things. We've got Supermind, which engages the energy mind to give us uplifting ideas and beautiful habitats, holidays in mind we can have at any time, modern energy meditation. And so many other things designed to, you know, keep that future orientation on what you actually want to achieve and to keep your energy high, to put yourself in the best position to actually achieve that. So when I say the secret to really becoming a millionaire is to be fearless, this is what I mean. When all the fear is gone, all the fear has left us, and we are actually directly looking forward and into the future, and go ahead and do the things that need to be done to bring that to pass, then we are in that space of real freedom where we can be where we're supposed to be. If you haven't read Revolution, I strongly recommend that you do, because there is a very good thing in there about finding yourself at +10 and nowhere else. Everything else is really just a stressed version of you. So this is what I would like to leave you with. Please let go of the need of doubting yourself, of questioning yourself, of constantly undermining yourself. Please understand that that is just stress, energy body stress. And that when our energy body stress is replaced by better energy flow, and we're starting to experience the corresponding emotions of feeling happier, stronger, more powerful, more sparkly, that's the solution to almost every problem. And if it's not the direct solution, it puts you in a state where you can start to actually find proper solutions that will work and that will change the world. I hope this has been helpful to you. Please put that on your fridge, on your vision board, on your t-shirt. Be fearless and become at least a millionaire.